Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy. Taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. Visit energy.gov.ky or follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees, so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 24th day of May 2023, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle. We urge you to ensure that you observe the rules of the road, including using your indicator whenever you are either turning, changing lanes. Make sure that you communicate with all of the other road users. If you do so and observe all of the other rules of the road, then the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a belated happy birthday as well. And the For the Record birthday shout-outs are proudly brought to you by More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture, tap into your roots. More Than Words, located on the second floor of the Thompson building. Those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. This morning, again, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us, For the Record, one word, For the Record, @candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925 3261. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to Radio Cayman live stream. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook as well. So you're welcome to join us in the conversation. But before we go there, again, let's look at some of the birthdays today. And again, to remind you that, for the record, birthday shout-outs are brought to you by More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture. Tap into your roots. More Than Words, located on the second floor of the Thompson Building. So we see yesterday, Miss Risa Goldberg celebrated a birthday. Today we have Clive Sugar Dread Grant celebrating his birthday. We also had Lorna Green celebrating a birthday yesterday. Juanita Whitaker Maxwell also celebrated a birthday yesterday. And Anne-Marie Foster Fitzgerald also celebrated a birthday yesterday. I believe we do have some other, Mr. James Ebanks celebrating his 55th birthday also today. So we want to give a big shout out to all of those birthday persons. Now, here's a special anniversary, and if we can call it a birthday shout out as well, but a special anniversary for those of you who love New York, and in particular Brooklyn. Today marks the 140th anniversary since the Brooklyn Bridge opened to the public. That opening followed 14 long and difficult years of construction. Many persons had doubted that building a bridge of this size was advisable and even possible. When construction began in 1869, New York and Brooklyn were two separate entities, the country's first and third most popular cities. The only way to move people and goods between them was by boat. So the Brooklyn Bridge was construction started there. Now, some of you may wonder, if you're not familiar with New York, well, we thought that Brooklyn was in New York. Yes, Brooklyn is New York. But when they're referring to New York, they're referring to New York City, the island of Manhattan. That's what is being referred to there. Oh, by the way, also, we see news now where it is reported that the island of Manhattan is sinking because of the weight of the skyscrapers that are built on there. So that's something else that you may want to ponder as well as we consider the effects of climate change and everything else. So it's been reported that Manhattan Island is sinking because of the weight of its skyscrapers and all of the buildings there. Let me give you a little bit more information on the Brooklyn Bridge, since it's today it's celebrating 140 years since it was opened to the public. Popularly referred to as the eighth wonder of the world, the bridge was at the time the largest suspension bridge in the world, featuring a span of 1,595 feet and costing $15 million to construct. Thousands of residents and visitors turned out to watch and participate in the festivities on May the 24th, 1883, when it opened to the public. Colorful flags and bunting hung from the windows, doors, and rooftops of seemingly every house, building, and moored boat on both sides of the East River. Of course, the East River is where the Brooklyn Bridge crosses over. And if you're familiar with downtown Brooklyn, near Skimmerhorn Street, Hoyt and Skimmerhorn, in that area, Flatbush Avenue as well. And you enter the bridge there. I think, is it Brooklyn Community College, located in that area as well. But the Brooklyn Bridge, still a picturesque structure, has a footpath also. You can walk over it as well or cycle over it. So when you do go to New York and visit, you definitely want to visit the Brooklyn Bridge and, of course, the famous Statue of Liberty as well is something else that you would want to visit in New York. So I'm pushing New York this morning, my favorite city. So this article goes on to talk about the fact that with the 7th Regiment leading the way, President Chester Arthur, so remember who was president when the Brooklyn Bridge was open to the public, if you're a trivia buff. So U.S. President Chester Arthur began his ceremonial walk over the new bridge at about 2 o'clock. The procession paused at the first great granite tower on the New York side, that is the Manhattan side, where he heard Hail to the Chief played 4 times. Upon arrival at the Brooklyn side tower, he was treated to the president's personal anthem another 7 times. Cannons boomed, bells rang, and steam whistles screamed on land and from the flotilla of boats gathered below. What else can we share with you on that? Hours of oratory continued throughout the day as thousands of ticket holders streamed across the bridge. An enormous display of fireworks, bigger than anything seen before, filled the night sky. According to the event's commemorative booklet, the demonstration was confined to no class or body of the populace. It was a holiday for high and low, rich and poor. It was, in fact, the people's day. Article talks about the Brooklyn Bridge changing and staying the same, which is what some people here in the Cayman Islands would wish for the Cayman Islands, that we would change, but at the same time stay the same. It says, engineered and built for the ages, the Brooklyn Bridge has nevertheless undergone several renovations and reconfigurations as traffic needs have changed. Regular trawler service continued over the bridge until 1950, when the tracks were ripped up and replaced with a pair of 3-lane roadways. As of 2021, one of the lanes is now dedicated to 2-way bike traffic. And I mentioned earlier about cycling across the bridge. One original feature still in use is the pedestrian boardwalk, very popular, that runs above and between the 2 roadways. On opening day, more than 1,800 vehicles and 150,300 persons used the bridge to cross between Brooklyn and Manhattan. Now more than 120,000 cars and 30,000 pedestrians and 4,000 cyclists make the crossing every day. So again, we want to say a big, big happy birthday greeting to the Brooklyn Bridge, 140 years since it was open to the public. And again, the For the Record birthday shout-outs proudly brought to you by More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture, tap into your roots. More Than Words, located on the 2nd floor of the Thompson Building. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, I will introduce my guest, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Hubert Lawrence Co-Bodden, Certificate of Honor, JP.
Hubert was born in Newlands to Pearlie Nee and Thomas A. Jackson. Just before his 18th birthday, he went to sea on a banana boat running between Costa Rica, Cuba, and Tampa. Eventually, he found work in the United States where he met and married Elizabeth Long. They had 2 children. In the 1960s, wishing to return to Cayman, he invested in a heavy equipment business being started by his brother, Harold J. Hubert returned to Cayman in 1968 to join Jay in such projects as Cayman Turtle Farm and Governor's Harbor, among others. In 1969, they started a quarry operation, Caribbean Stone Products, which supplied crushed rock throughout the island during the 1980s. In 1985, the brothers bought Island Paving Limited. Hubert has donated time, equipment, and materials to many community projects. And he and his brothers donated a parcel of land for the Savannah Newlands Playground. He was a special constable for the RCIPS and an honorary member of the Lions Club, and he has served on many public and private sector boards and committees.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are among the top causes of death in Cayman every year. From June 3rd until July 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will conduct the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey to better understand the prevalence of non-communicable diseases within our nation. Log on to www.gov.ky/steps to learn more.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
I tell you what, I need to find a way to bring my electricity costs down. I don't want to see another high bill next month.
Have you tried doing an energy audit?
A what?
An energy audit. The do-it-yourself energy audits on energy.gov.ky make it easy to find ways to save energy and money in your home or business.
Oh yeah? I'm going to log on to that website right now. What was it again?
Visit energy.gov.ky to download do-it-yourself energy audits for your home or business. There is even a fun activity guide for kids.
Complete an energy audit of your home or business before 31st of May 2023 to be entered into a prize giveaway. Prizes include a $5,000 gift certificate to Home Gas and gift certificates to Cooling Pros, Foam Pros, Costulest, and Foster's.
Visit energy.gov.ky today and follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram.
More Than Words, your gateway to local books and more. Connect to your culture. Tap into your roots. More Than Words bookstore in the Thompson Building. Supplies local books, gifts, trinkets, keepsakes, wall plaques, and journals. The hub for local authors. More Than Words. So much more. More Than Words is now open. Shop number 4, second floor Thompson Building. Or call 936-5544.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Before I introduce my guest, I forgot this morning, and I had it written down and just missed it, to extend condolences to the people, the population of Guyana, those Guyanese who are resident here in the Cayman Islands, as well as the nation of Guyana, over the huge tragedy that took place a couple of days over there with the burning, the fire that resulted in 19 lives being lost. And we're seeing in some of the news media today, yesterday I saw something where the deputy fire chief announced that it was obviously, they strongly suspected that it was arson. And we're seeing a little bit more about it now, where it is being reported that some student, something to do with a cell phone, I believe, and as a result may have done that. We will look it up and share more with you. But to those Guyanese nationals who are living in the Cayman Islands, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you here and to the people of Guyana as well. With that, it is my pleasure to have in the studio again with me this morning, not a member of the opposition, because it's Opposition Wednesday, but Minister Kenneth Bryan, to continue the conversation from Monday. And we will be joined by Minister Dwayne Seymour at a later juncture in the show as well. So, Minister, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning, Ms. Susan, and good morning to your listening audience here in Cayman and across the world. It's a pleasure to be here with you for this open dialogue. Today, I'm hoping to kind of further the discussion on some of the things we spoke about on Wednesday with myself and my colleague, Honorable Minister Seymour. On Monday, yes. And I potentially might go into some other things. And as we are having persons listening, I need interaction with you. And I'm going to ask for you guys, for your listening audience, not you guys. My mom always say, stop saying you guys. Who you talking to? But you guys, sorry. My lovely residents of the Cayman Islands to interact with us today, because I'm going to ask when we open up the calls to give me some responses to some questions. But I want us to be as concise as we can. I know normally we get into long preambles as to the topic. But I'm really just trying to make sure that my mind is on the right track in respect to prioritizing issues. So one of the things that I've been commonly doing over the last year is, what are the top issues for the people of this country? And we know what the main top ones are, but I would like to hear if there's something that we are missing out there that we're not prioritizing. We try our best to cover that within our strategic policy approach and guidance. And we hope that we can, as a government, as a PAC government, resolve these things. So I'm going to list off a couple of the things, and if you think of a subject area that you can concisely say, like say in a phase or a topic quickly, that I can write it down, I would love to hear from you. Not necessarily going into what the long issues of the problem, but just to highlight the problem, we can make the assumptions of what the main issue is with that, and figure out solutions. So right now, I just off the top of my head, I just wrote down traffic, cost of living, housing availability, minimum wage, pension reform, healthcare cost, immigration reform. So I just added 7 just now. And as the show goes on, I want you to think to yourself what topics that are priority to you. Because sometimes priorities for you or priorities different for somebody else. So for example, all you amazing persons who are unfortunately stuck in traffic this morning, you're probably saying right now, I want the traffic problem addressed. That's the top on your list. For a Caymanian who's living out of an apartment and seeing that all of their investments is going to pay off somebody else's mortgage, they're probably saying, Kenneth, I want a house for myself as a Caymanian. Some people may be saying, I'm getting paid less than nothing and I can't move up the ladder of opportunity in this country because I just don't get paid enough. Minimum wage is my top issue. So I guess the question I'm asking is, what is the top issue for you, Cayman? What is your top issue? So because one of the things that, funny enough, I got a message while we were on the show on Monday, and I didn't answer the question because I didn't see the message come in while we were on the show, which was, let me just find it because I want to read it verbatim.
Is that the one about the long time about Seaman? Well, let me I'll share this one while you look for that. This person says, "Good morning, Honorable Minister Bryan. I think, and they say correct me if I'm wrong. Making politicians better. A few months ago, you said you were in favor of giving the old long-time seamen a raise on their money, their little money. Any update on that?"
Yes, I'm still in favor of that, and I don't want to speak out of turn because I'm here speaking on my behalf here. But I can say to you that there is going to be some positive announcements, but I think it'd be only most appropriate that I leave it to the minister responsible for that area, because collectively as a government we've talked about this and recognized that the amount of money that the seamen get is not sufficient for them to survive in the increase in cost. So there will be some good news being announced in the near future.
Okay.
But I leave that to the Honorable Andre Ebanks. Just to quickly say, I just got a message from the Honorable Dwayne Seymour. He's just passing the Lion Center. That was 7 minutes ago. So he should be here soon to join us after the news.
Okay. We still have about 1 minute to go before then.
Yeah. So the question I got on Friday. Hold on, let me just find it. Minister Bryan, can you give us an update on the referendum that yourself and the Premier promised last year? I can't give you an update because I'm still awaiting an update myself in respect to for where we're at. Last thing I heard is that the necessary legislative discussions or preparation was being done, because you know that in order for us to do a referendum, we have to carry a bill to Parliament,
right.
and the relevant questions or the formulation of those questions have to be agreed to in Parliament. I've asked the Premier last week, or was it Monday? I think it was last week, caucus. So I expect that we should get an update on Monday this week. I know that some people are not big on the referendum because the two things that we agreed that we would have a discussion on was the decriminalization of marijuana and the question of whether the Cayman should have a national local lottery. But what was interesting is people are saying, listen, I'm not necessarily in support of it, but I want to have my say on it. So either way, I think that the referendum continues to be a topic that people want addressed, and hopefully I can get an update from the Honorable Premier, because we have to take his lead in respect to these things. If he says, no, we can't have the referendum, then we can't have it. He did come on the show and gave that commitment to have it. So hopefully on Monday I can get an update from him so I can come back to you, the people, and tell you what's happening.
Okay. This person says that their issue is, please tell our Honorable Minister, Caymanian protectionism, exclusive benefits. That's
I'd love to know what exclusive benefits mean.
What they mean, but
I think Cayman protectionism falls under immigration reform. So
Yes.
that would be a subsection of immigration reform. So again, after we come out from the news, please, folks, call your friends, tell everybody that we're on the show this morning. I want to hear from you. If you want to text
feedback, yes.
If you want to text the host, Mr. OC, to give this a topic, we would love to hear it, because I want to take notes today. I want to listen to you and hear you. And
925-3261, or email us at fortherecord@candw.ky. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation will continue with Minister Bryan, and we will be joined by Minister Seymour as well. So please stay tuned.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
So it's your turn to cook tonight. What are we having?
Well, we have chicken thighs, pork chop, sirloin steak, ground chicken, or beef stir fry.
Wow, so many options.
Yeah, I got them from the Foster's Pick 5 selection. You can choose any 5 specially marked packs for $19.99. The meat is always fresh and never previously frozen. It's the perfect way to stock up for the week.
So all of this only costs $19.99?
It sure did.
Pick 5 is available at all locations, and selection may vary between stores. Foster's, better value because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. For the second assessment in a row, Sister Janice Early Learning Center nets a satisfactory judgment from school inspectors. According to the Office of Education Standards, during this year's inspection, they found that children's achievement in most aspects of exploration, respect, communication, and well-being were satisfactory. Notably, children's achievement in aspects of respect, including sense of self, culture, and religion, was judged as good. Additionally, students at Sister Janice's Early Learning Center understand making safe and healthy choices. That was judged as good, and daily routines encourage healthy lifestyles by ensuring kids regularly wash their hands and take responsibility for their personal hygiene. Teaching at Sister Janice's was judged as satisfactory, as they had a, quote, sound understanding of children's developmental stages. However, the report says they did not always plan activities to meet the needs of individual children. Learning was also judged as satisfactory. Almost all kids demonstrated positive attitudes towards learning and showed interest and enthusiasm in their daily activities. The OES said the curriculum was satisfactory, organized around broad themes, and appropriately incorporating the 4 focus areas of Cayman's early years curriculum framework. The arrangements for health and safety at Sister Janice's were judged as satisfactory, as were support and guidance. Interaction between staff and children were nurturing and, quote, affirming. Leadership was judged as satisfactory, with the principal demonstrating a strong commitment to raising the quality of children's achievement in key areas of their learning, and that was, quote, highly visible in the center. Self-evaluation and improvement planning were judged as weak, though, as leaders were, quote, not yet analyzing the performance of the center in a systematic way. Plastic Free Cayman wants you to come to Islands House this Saturday for the Plastic Pollution Panel. They'll be discussing all things plastic pollution and ways to prevent it from getting in the ocean in the first place. You can RSVP by emailing at cayman@gmail.com. That's going to be running from 5 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. Then on Sunday at Lover's Wall, the group has planned a beach cleanup from 8 a.m. until 10. And Meals on Wheels provides hot, free, nutritious meals to older persons, those who are homebound, and adults with disabilities throughout the Cayman Islands, Monday to Friday, 52 weeks of the year. And as a nonprofit, community support is crucial to the services. That's why the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce's Leadership Cayman Class of 2023 has created Wheels for Meals. Class member Mira Pekovsek.
It's very important for us. So we are all at least middle management leaders. You know, our entire program is about understanding the different sectors of our community, how they intersect, how they affect the people of our community, including those in our sister islands, to be able to take on and address some of the challenges that we face. And so this year we chose Meals on Wheels, understanding the financial landscape that we're in right now and the challenges with cost of living and food. It was important for us to choose a charity that contributed to that based on where we are kind of as a community at the moment and how that affects very vulnerable people in our community.
Leadership Cayman hopes to raise $50,000, which will allow Meals on Wheels to deliver more than 7,100 meals. The full day of spin and yoga classes for adults and kids will be held at Vital Spin Bar in Grand Harbor on June 24th from 9 a.m. until 2. For more information, you can head to caymanchamber.ky. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. The Russian Prime Minister has said ties with China are at an unprecedented high as Moscow seeks support for its war in Ukraine. Mikhail Mishustin is the most senior Russian official to visit Beijing since the full-scale invasion began. Pakistan's defence minister says the government is considering banning the party of the former Prime Minister Imran Khan. The minister accused the PTI of attacking the foundation of the state. The Swiss academic and Islamic scholar Tariq Ramadan has been acquitted of rape by a court in Geneva. He had denied attacking a woman in a hotel room in 2008. Hong Kong's Cathay Pacific Airline has sacked 3 flight attendants accused of mocking passengers who didn't speak English. China's state media called it a case of worshipping foreigners and looking down on mainlanders. Separatists in Cameroon have kidnapped more than 30 women in the northwest of the country. The women were reportedly protesting against illegal taxes imposed by the militants. An Australian policeman who tasered a 95-year-old woman inside her care home has been charged with assault. Claire Noland, who has dementia, remains in a critical condition in hospital. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
CUC Advisory. Customers are advised of a scheduled outage on Sunday, May 28th between 8:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. for a portion of Shedden Road from the junction with North Sound Road to the Mango Tree Restaurant, including Printer Way and Archive Lane. For more information, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Excuse me, I noticed you from afar.
Really?
Me?
Well, not you. The KFC sandwich you're eating?
Oh, Zinger.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it's called the Zinger Sandwich. Crunchy, juicy, 100% chicken breast, crisp lettuce, sweet mayo on a seeded bun with a little zing. KFC's chicken is not factory breaded, frozen and refried like the Burger Boys. Customize your KFC Zinger and dip it in barbecue sauce.
Wow, now I'm starting to notice you too.
KFC, it's finger licking good.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 84 degrees. Relative humidity is 76%. The barometric pressure is 29.84 inches and rising. The wind is out of the north at 2 knots. Overnight low temperature was 78 degrees. Synopsis indicate light winds and smooth seas are expected to continue for the next few days in association with a weak pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman Islands drifting towards the south. The forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 40% chance of afternoon showers and possible thunder. And temperatures today will be in the upper 80s with a heat index of 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be light and variable and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Pretty much the same for tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be light and variable and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Low tide will be this morning at 8:21, high tide this afternoon at 12:56, and a low tide again tonight at 10 minutes after 7. Sun will set this evening at 6:55 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:48. And the outlook is calling for similar conditions through Friday morning.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving our goals is rewarding, but at times can feel frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, adjust as necessary. Anticipate ups and downs. Often it will be easier to stick to some goals than others, so allow yourself to have some flexibility in your approach and assessment. Continue to dream and adjust the effort to maintain interest and motivation. Ask yourself, is this really my goal? If it is a goal imposed by others, then consider what may be in it for you. Why would you like to do this? There is always the option not to do it. Figure out why you're doing it and then go for it.
Change your thinking and change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at how your traffic is looking this morning. Further up on Shamrock Road, moving on moderately, and the Linford Pearson Highway, bumper to bumper. Busy traffic heading to Georgetown on Crew Road. And coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, traffic is also busy. And bumper to bumper traffic coming off of the Estelle Tibbetts Highway and continuing on to North Sound Road. Steady traffic heading towards the Industrial Park area. As we look to the West Bay Road and for the Ridge, traffic is moderate in both directions. And from the West Bay four-way stop, flowing moderately as well. Downtown Georgetown on Edward Street, moving on pretty good. And traffic flowing nicely on Owen Roberts Drive. Slow-moving traffic heading to Georgetown on Walker's Road. And coming off of the Linford Pearson Highway and Agnes Way, traffic is busy. And that's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Remember, click it or ticket. Have a good morning and drive safe.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
The Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency wants your feedback on the draft National Climate Change Policy. You are invited to join representatives from the Ministry, Department of Environment, Hazard Management, and the National Weather Service at the Aston Ruddy Center at 4 p.m. on Friday, the 26th of May, or Little Cayman Beach Resort from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. on Saturday, the 27th of May, to learn about the draft policy and give your feedback. To view the full list of meeting dates, times, and venues, visit gov.ky/climate change policy. Log on to gov.ky/climate change policy today to learn more.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Minister Bryan has stepped out of the studio for a second. He'll be right back. Meanwhile, I'll share something with you. On Monday, you heard us, talk about the communique that had been issued after the Joint Ministerial Council meeting. And one of the topics discussed there and where agreements had been made had to do with health care. And so I'll share this with you. What that communique did say about health care was the fact that some of the overseas territories, including the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, Tristan da Cunha, I think Pitcairn, would now benefit from a new National Health Services policy of the United Kingdom. So the Royal Gazette and the Bermudan government have at least let their people know exactly what is taking place. So here's the article, and we do have a caller. I'll take that call in a second as well. It says Bermuda residents will be able to get treatment on the National Health Services at much cheaper rates than previously, following a memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Health and Whitehall. Now, Whitehall is the seat of government in the United Kingdom. Up to 5 Bermudan residents will be eligible for free medical treatment on the National Health Service in Britain from next month, so in June. All Bermuda residents will also be eligible to get treatment on the National Health Service at much cheaper rates than previously after a after a memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Health and Whitehall. Kim Wilson, the Minister of Health, described this agreement as great news for Bermuda. Ms. Wilson is quoted as saying it allows 5 treatment slots per fiscal year on the National Health Service for Bermuda residents. Where the treatment cannot be provided or is not appropriate to be provided in Bermuda, eligible patients will be treated free of charge by the National Health Service. That's National Health Service in the UK. I'm going to repeat that again. Where the treatment cannot be provided or is not appropriate to be provided in Bermuda, eligible patients will be treated free of charge by the National Health Service, and the cost of treatment will be covered by the United Kingdom government. She is quoted as saying, "I want to express my gratitude to the Deputy Governor, Tom Opperheim, for his hard work and resilience in bringing this agreement to a conclusion." Ms. Wilson pointed out that ancillary costs such as transportation and accommodation will be the responsibility of the patient and their insurers, while all referrals will have to be approved by the Chief Medical Officer. Under the agreement, residents will also be able to get treatment in the United Kingdom at vastly reduced costs. At present, visitors and even non-resident British citizens have to pay up to 3 times the actual cost of a procedure charged to residents. The National Health Service will scrap that markup under the agreement, which comes into effect on the 5th of June. And then it goes on to give a quote from the Chief Medical Officer in Bermuda, who said that the deal could drive down costs for patients who have to travel overseas for treatment. He said this arrangement is for necessary health care and for any clinical and cost-effective treatment options not provided in Bermuda. Generally speaking, tariffs for health care and treatments are lower on the National Health Service than equivalent tariffs in the U.S. It goes on to say that I am delighted to announce that an unlimited number of Bermudan eligible persons may be referred to healthcare providers in the United Kingdom for a pre-authorized course of treatment at 100% of the National Health Service tariffs instead of the 150% or 200% obtained in the past. Here's what's also important. Anyone legally resident in Bermuda will qualify for the free or reduced rates treatment regardless of their nationality. So that includes, for instance, it says, a government spokesman said a Bermudan eligible person means any person present in Bermuda at the time of the referral by the referring office and who possesses Bermudan status, is the holder of a permanent residence certificate, is naturalized as a British Overseas Territory citizen of Bermuda, or is lawfully resident in Bermuda pursuant to a work permit as well. So that is pretty. We're going to talk about that some more, Minister Bryan. As well.
Yeah, I think that you will probably hear more from the Cayman context from the Honorable Minister of Health. And again, I don't want to step on my colleagues' toes in respect to how that transaction for another overseas territory reflects on Cayman. I did ask the minister about it. She said that there is some discussions happening from the Cayman context, and I want to leave it to her to make that answer. But what is important is that we recognize that as we are moving forward with dialogue and discussions with the overseas and FCDO, that there is an appetite for more opportunities for the overseas territories, not only in healthcare, but in other areas like funding and so forth. So I am excited about that. I see that the Honorable Minister for Labor and Border Control has just joined us, so I'm so happy that he's here this morning. But I will ask the Minister of Health to come and give the Cayman context here. I mean, obviously I can't tell her what to do, but I know that she'll be happy to give the public some updates in that respect.
Yeah, because the communique from the Joint Ministerial Council reads, it says the overseas territories welcomes progress in implementing the long-awaited reform to the National Health Services quota system, which now offers greater flexibility and access, and for the first time includes Ascension, Tristan da Cunha, Pitcairn, Cayman, and Bermuda territories. Bermuda territories also welcome the commitment to regular reviews to ensure that the reforms meet individual territory needs. So I don't believe that there's too much discussion still taking place on it. It appears it has been done based on this communique from the Joint Ministerial Council.
Well, I want to say two things, and it's just about timing of things. So one, and I'll say them quickly, I know we have a caller, that the communique has not been disseminated to all members yet, and I'll ask for that to be disseminated amongst the colleagues, because we need to know what was transpired over there. And secondly, even though that the decision has been done, there's formalities that need to be done here, and we respect each other as colleagues to confirm what does it mean in the whole context and then deliver to us as a caucus.
But why not just share this good news to the people of the Cayman Islands, like the Bermudans? They haven't gone into detail into what's there, but at least they're sharing the good news.
Respectfully, I want to leave it to my health minister to make that.
Okay, we do have a caller on WhatsApp. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. Go right ahead.
Sorry, good morning. I just had a few questions.
I'm not hearing anything. We'll see.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Go right ahead, caller.
Yes, I had a few questions. Good morning, Minister Bryan.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, I had a few questions regarding the housing crisis
Uh-huh.
that we face in Cayman.
Yes, ma'am.
And where is the government in terms of addressing the issue along with foreign land ownership? Because as you know, anyone could come here and purchase land, along with the point system, and how is that being refurbished?
Thank you so much for the question. I hope that you will stay tuned and listen up. We'll try our best to respond to those queries, okay?
Okay, yes,
Or do you want to stay on while I try to answer it? Or
I would, I have to run, but I will definitely be tuning in.
Okay, and I want to say keep up the good work. As a young Caymanian, it's good that you pay attention to these things, so I'm proud of you for calling in. All right, OC.
Thank you very much,
is there another
for that.
caller?
And Susan, do we have any other caller in hold? Okay, well, we have a break, so rather than having to interrupt you, we can take the break a minute or so earlier and come right back. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What exactly are the steps in the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey? Step 1 is a questionnaire where you'll be asked about your health behaviors and lifestyle choices. Step 2 involves home measurements like height, weight, and blood pressure. Lastly, Step 3 is a finger prick blood sample for cholesterol and glucose. STEPS 2023 starts on June 3rd. Learn more by logging on to www.gov.ky/steps.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited, Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our Custom Closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
SNAP Clinical Camp is back and will be extended to a 2-week summer camp from July 4th to July 14th. Is your child between the ages of 6 and 11 years and experiencing behavioral issues? Do you want your child to learn proven methods to support emotion regulation and effective problem solving? Do you want your child to have an unforgettable start to their summer? Then contact the Family Resource Center at frc@gov.ky to register your child. The deadline for registration is May 31st. Volunteer opportunities are also available. Family Resource Center. Building people, building families.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Minister with responsibility for tourism and ports, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, and also in the studio with us, Minister with responsibility for border control and labor, the Honorable Dwayne Seymour. Minister Seymour, welcome back again.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Cayman. Good morning, OC, and good morning, the listening audience, in particular, Bordentown East. And I thank you, my good friend, Minister Bryan, for calling me last night and letting me know that OC had an opening this morning. It is our duty as representatives and elected members to communicate with the public. And I think Minister Bryan and myself have done that in many formats, whether it's public meeting or otherwise. Not many members who have the muster to have a public meeting and to encourage people out to come out to listen to what their elected member and their constituencies have to say. Mm-hmm. And I thank you for that, Minister Bryan, and being so gracious to come on with the snap of a finger when OC calls. And I know that I had some other engagements, yes, and thank you for anything I can do to communicate with the public. I know that right now especially our public wants us to communicate with them. There's so many things going on out there in terms of the economic hardships and otherwise, and anything that we can do to listen to our people, because a lot of times some elected representatives think that they're so smart that they have all the answers. And I think they're wrong in that regard. And yes, you need to be able to act on your own, and persons elect us to be able to act for them at times. But I think we need to do more listening at this particular juncture, especially after COVID. I keep mentioning COVID, and a lot of people don't understand why, or put that behind you. But I'm saying to you that 2 years of COVID does not erase itself in 2 years.
Yeah. Yes. Agreed. As my colleague has said, Honorable Minister Seymour, we are committed to communication. I must say that we've not done enough of that, and we're insisting that we're going to be doing that, even if it's just myself and John and Honorable Minister Jay. I know that there's many others who are going to be making a concerted effort to come out more. So that's why we're here this morning. In respect to the question of the last caller, because I don't want to lose focus here, the last caller said, I want to know about housing for Caymanians and also the minimum, the point system.
Yeah.
So I posed the question, and just for those who are listening, probably just tuned in, I posed the question is, what are the top issues for Cayman? And I'm going to try to answer her question quickly, but so far what we have, because I've been getting a lot of messages on WhatsApp as well, traffic, cost of living, housing, minimum wage, pension reform, healthcare cost, immigration reform, employment protection and opportunities, and crime. Crime is getting out of hand is one of the things that was sent to me.
And if you could add advisory district councils to that
advisory
as well.
District councils.
Someone has sent that. And Minister, when you start to talk to answer the caller before, maybe you can include this in it as well. This person says, "Good morning, gentlemen. I'm 59 years of age, a born Caymanian, self-employed, healthy, and working steadily. I have a house lot with no loan on it. I have never owned a house, but want desperately to get a home on my property in West Bay. Respectfully, I'm asking, what is the best way forward for me?"
Okay. All right. So we'll get to that one. So basically, housing, that's a housing and financing issue. All right. So in respect to the housing for Caymanians, one of the things that you may have seen, particularly myself, the Honourable Minister Seymour, Honourable Minister Jay particularly, have been fighting heavily for, is the East-West Arterial. Now, most people think that is generally mostly focused on the concept of traffic, but the East-West Arterial allows us to do a lot of other things. The reason why cost for housing for Caymanians today is so difficult is because of the cost of it, and that's based on a supply and demand issue. It depends on how much land you have available in the market compared to the demand of the market will increase the price or decrease the price. We believe that East-West Arterial, not only does it allow for more emergency accessibility and natural disasters, not only does it allow for traffic reduction strategies and also diversification of our economy by allowing more development to be more to the east, but it also allows us to open access to land that can be put on the market for Caymanians' housing opportunities. So we do know that there should be people out there who would be willing to put land in that area that is a dry area, not the wetlands area, and I would not encourage that, but where there is access to drier areas, that they can open that up to house lots, where the more land you put on the market, the cheaper it gets. So the government is trying with that initiative. That's why one of the key reasons for getting the housing done so quickly. Now, in respect to the second part, which the Honourable Minister for Labour and Immigration will talk to you about that, but the point system upon which that he will respond to also has connectivity to the supply and demand, because the point system, as we know for residency, has a major component of if you have property, housing, or land is a key component for getting residency. I personally, again, speaking on my own behalf as an independent member of the PAC, the decision will have to be made in a collective at a future date for the minister to announce. But personally, I am of the view that requirement, those points for residency should be taken away for persons who buy and house a land, because it puts an artificial demand on the market that will increase the cost, which puts it out of the way of that young Caymanian who wants a house. Now,
so maybe we should take the ownership of property, that requirement, we should remove that from the equation.
Yes. That's what I'm of the view, but I'll allow the minister to respond to
that. As you've said, this is nothing that was agreed in caucus, so we're here discussing some of our personal views, and we hope that members of caucus would also see it the way we see it. And I think it's a no-brainer, because we what we see now is that the affordable housing and the houses that our Caymanians can afford are being swooped up by persons who want to earn those extra points for the PR system, and we say take that away, and try to include something else as a resort in trying to get points to get your PR, so that that person don't try to swoop this up so fast. And the ones that are in the bracket that Caymanians can afford, and that's why persons are finding it so hard to buy a house. one of the things I heard the young lady call about earlier in terms of her having property, and you know, even when we go about East-West Arterial, there's a lot of land in there that Caymanians own, you know, and I'm saying to myself, why are people talking about persons going to develop the land after the road goes? And I'm saying to myself, why are you depriving these Caymanians that are land rich and cash poor, they would say, in trying to gain access to their land so that they can also pass it on to their children or their grandchildren, and have them build a house also. They have a system called at the Housing Trust, GG Ham, which, you know, if you have property, they'll come and build on it for you and so forth. And I think this is the way forward for persons who have property. But the minister Minister J.E. Banks is very adamant about building as much houses as he can build. And you know, they say some plant and some water. Well, I did some planting and buying land while I was Minister of Housing. I bought some 25 acres in Georgetown itself, because I recognized that Georgetown hadn't had any minimum affordable housing built in many years. So, and also I recognize that Northside had not had a affordable housing program. So we bought 10 or 12 acres in Northside, and that's going on right now. The most beautiful land I've ever seen. You know, you should take a drive up there and one day.
Elevated as well.
It's elevated when you go on the rise and you see the horizon. So those persons up there will live a good quality life. And, you know, so there's things that the government is working on, but we can never be satisfied that we're doing enough. We need to drill down to ensure that we not only capture one area of society, but all areas.
One of our listeners has written and spoken about the fact that, you know, with the housing, and certainly they welcome the view that the ownership of property ownership in the Cayman Islands, that should not be factored into the equation for permanent residents. But they also are questioning, then what do we do about land sales in the Cayman Islands in terms of keeping it open so that anyone can purchase land in the Cayman Islands, irrespective of your immigration status. And also, to top that off, the majority of real estate agents in the Cayman Islands are non-Caymanians and on work permits. So the incentive is there for them to sell property to whomever, because they're only looking out for their commissions from it. So, you know, it is a huge package that is coming along with that. Other areas that need to be addressed.
Serious
as well,
commodity.
Yes.
And one that we need to take, that is one of the areas that we are looking at in terms of real estate industry. You know, and I won't say much more on that, because I don't want
to tip your hand. You got to be.
I don't want persons run into persons trying to block things.
Yes,
and that's what happens sometimes when we mention these things on the radio, and things that are desire. And you know, but I won't be stopped, because some of these things are low-hanging fruits, and we need to answer the call of our people. And we need to listen to our people. These are things that are affecting our people, and their generations moving forward.
Yep. Okay, let's take this commercial break.
Okay.
We only have 1 minute for you to talk, Minister Bryan. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, with Minister Kenneth Bryan and Minister Dwayne Seymour, will continue after the short commercial break.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
West Bay Pharmacy. Personalized medicine, customized care to meet your specific needs. Your body is unique to you. Your medicine should be too. Whether you're seeking individual specific medication, correct size dosages, or simply better tasting medicine, ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about how compounding at West Bay Pharmacy can increase your treatment options, not only for your family, but for your pets too. West Bay Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sundays and most holidays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Doing a kitchen renovation? At Granite Express Cayman, we can help you with fresh new kitchen cabinets and countertops in less than 4 weeks. When designing your dream kitchen, it's important to balance timeless features that reflect your personality and design aesthetic. Granite Express Cayman is offering a great package rate for custom-built cabinets, kitchen respray, and kitchen countertops with granite and quartz stone. Call 922-0424 for a free estimate. Granite Express Cayman, friendly service and fast installation. Hurry, offers valid while supplies last. Visit graniteexpresscayman.com.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record in the studio with me, Minister Kenneth Bryan and Minister Dwayne Seymour. Gentlemen, we have a request here. The representatives at the Department of Vehicle and Driver's License asking us to announce the fact that the DVDL is hosting their annual Customer Appreciation Day today at all 3 of their offices. Giveaways being handed out, and I'm going to just add something there. Please make sure you give away some booklets and pamphlets on safe driving and the road code and obeying them as well. So we're encouraging persons that they should go ahead and visit one of the DVDL location, their Customer Appreciation Day today. This person also says Cayman Airways should be at the top of that list, Minister Bryan. They say on Tuesday, Cayman Airways landed in Grand Cayman in the pouring rain, and people on board those flights had to be running off in the rain until a baggage handler closed the flight door and rounded up as many umbrellas as he could, then returned and handed them to passengers as we were already on board waiting over 30 minutes, hoping for the rain to ease. This is unacceptable. Government wasting money on other things and on essential items, as having covered ramps during the rainy season to deplane should have been included in costs when the airport was being rebuilt or / renovated.
Very good points. So I want to say thank you so much to that person who sent that text in. The first one was, so the airport rain development. What was the first one again? Before that, the person said...
Oh, about the DVDL.
DVDL.
And the Customer Appreciation Day.
Customer Appreciation Day. So the minister is not here with us this morning simply because of that point. the Honorable Minister J.E. Banks. So I encourage everyone to go down to DVDL if you have a chance today, while the DVDL and the staff and management can show you the appreciation for working with them. In respect to that comment, and I really want to go back to the first person that called in, the young lady, but let me quickly answer about the airport. Now, I agree with them. We should have coverage at the airport. And as the Minister for the Cayman Islands Airports Authority, I will be making some announcements soon that I'm happy to say just yet last evening, which is last night, I got the approval from Cabinet for some redevelopment. And there will be an issue statement soon. But it does not cover the coverage for jetways. And I agree that should have been considered before in the first development. But it is an expensive exercise. The whole airport needs to be redeveloped again because of our growth and the model that we have for tourism importation. There's very peak points, particularly in the, after 11 to 3 o'clock hour. It's just, we may look like we have a big airport, but compared to the numbers of flights we're getting in, I'm happy to say it's a good problem, but it's a problem all the same. And jetways should be a priority there. But you can't just build the jetways on its own. You have to do that as a part of a bigger plan. And I agree that we have to focus on that. Unfortunately, the issues that we have at hand now is we're not in a financial position to do it right now. Because if we did, I would put the pressure on my government to support me on that, because we have a strategic outline case in respect to that, saying that we need jetways. And it's a part of the long-term plan, which has been agreed by government. But we just need to be in a financial position to do so. And unfortunately, we're not right now unless something drastically changes. So I agree with the caller. Going back to the young lady who called in about housing for Caymanians, I just want to say that one of the key areas that we need to focus on in this financial environment right now is availability for financing for Caymanians. You heard the Honorable Minister speak about the GGHAM program. The GGHAM program has to be agreed to by banks. And I asked the Honorable Premier to talk to the public about that. You heard him speak a little bit in respect to what he said on the floor of the House about the GGHAM program. It doesn't happen on its own. It was a program that was started by the Honorable Kirk Tibbetts back in the day, and I give him so much credit because actually I was a recipient of one of those. My first apartment that I had as a young father and husband was through the GGHAM program, and it helped me. I literally came up with $1,900, and I had my own place as a Caymanian, so I know it works. But financing in the high interest rate market right now is one of the key issues for Caymanians. So even if you had a good job, the rates upon which you would have to pay is a problem. I'm happy that I saw this morning that the inflation seems to be dropping in some places, like in the UK. So I suspect in a couple of months or so, you'll start to see the bank rates probably dropping again, and that's a good sign. But that's now even more reason that we start to protect and affect the housing pricing market on different ways by the supply and demand concept and GGHAM and opportunities for pricing. I want to take this opportunity to go back to some of the comments that were sent to me in respect to, I put the question out about the top issues, and a number of them came in via WhatsApp to me, so I want to read them out so people know that I've heard them. This is a wonderful one that was just sent in, and that kind of covers the rates as well. It says, regulations of realtors is one that they would like to see. Rental accommodation regulations. So that one is one that I think I've heard many times. The rental market, what was that? Was that rental reform? Rental regulation reform. We've been talking about that already. Matter of fact, I think Minister Seymour was one of the key persons talking about what we have to do in respect to that. So I know it's on the agenda. Regulations for professionals such as cosmetology, plumbing, electrical to be put in place. We do have that in respect to electrical and plumbing. We don't have it for cosmetology. So I'll look into that. Focus on actually doing a trade school and stop talking about it. Now, I have to disagree a little bit here because we do have a trade school. It's just not a trade school separate from the public works department. It's internal within the public works department, and I think this tells me that they need to do more marketing so people know actually what they're doing there, because we do have a smaller version of a trade school. We don't have a large trade school because there's not enough population for it. We don't have enough students coming out of school at one time to justify a multi-million-dollar separate trade school. That's why the past administration focused on putting a unit within the Public Works Department, which I support, and I think it's working well. I'll ask them to come on to explain better. And we also have UCCI that does training in hospitality and tourism and some other culinary arts. So there is trade schools. It's just that we do a horrible job at marketing what we do have. The other point that the messenger said is a much higher fines for littering and making sure it actually is enforced. Love that one. Garbage enforcement. The other one was to help in freight duties, no pension for work permit holders, which has a negative effect in my humble opinion. We can go further into that. Issuance of reform and regulation, etc. for small businesses. The other one, a better rate for Caymanians purchasing land by way of stamp duties. I agree with that. We can do some reform there to make it more of an incentive for Caymanians to get purchase and buy. Make it more expensive for foreign investors, so increase the rates on them and drop the rates on Caymanians. Eventually, for non-residents, focus on Caymanian jobs only and training them. I know you have a caller. So
yeah, we actually have 4 callers queued up. We're going to try to see if we can grab 1 or 2 before we go to our headline news, which is very short at 9 o'clock. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello?
Good morning. Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Orrett. Good morning, MP Bryan and Dwayne.
Hi.
Good morning. 2 of my favorite candidates this morning. Just a quick question. What are we going to do about these foreclosures for these Caymanians that are losing their homes? They need assistance, and once that home goes on the market, someone calls and says, oh, you know, this one is closing this for. I'm a real estate agent, and I am not selling my Caymanian homes. I am sorry. I refuse to go there. I refuse to touch anyone that has children. I am not doing it. So I'm wondering if there's any assistance out there, any help that they can. I don't even know what to say, to go back and do a double loan or get another loan from somewhere, or the government is going to step in and refinance that property for them so they can start again. And then another thing, if they don't have a job, what's the issue? How can you help them at least for 6 months until they get back on their feet?
Okay, caller. Make a note of that.
Yes, I definitely am. And I don't want to leave out my caller because I know he has viewpoints as well. But foreclosures is a major issue, and I think that it's one that's going to become more of a big concern further as we go.
If interest rates keep going
up. If the interest rates keep on going up. The only saving grace is I think that it's going to start to level out shortly and potentially start to decline again. But I'll respond to it a little bit.
Sure, let's see if we can grab one more call before we go to the break. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to the MLAs and the ministers there.
Good morning.
I am really concerned about the tourism department. You know, a lot of Caymanians here are true-born Caymanians, and I see they are being replaced by expats. I don't think this is fair to the Caymanians, because anytime people ask the expats about the island, they don't know anything. They don't know anything about the heritage. They can't even understand the language that people are saying, and they are left with their mouths dropped open for an answer. I think truly this tourism job should be for the true-born Caymanians that know the island, that can tell people. You know, we have people that come in and say, do you know Mr. Ebanks? Do you know Mr. Borden? Do you know Mr. Jackson? And no one knows. Their names are gone. They're dead in the graveyard. No one knows anything about the Caymanian heritage. And I think really and truly we have to put a stop on these expats. They come in here, they take away the jobs from the Caymanian, the true-born Caymanians, and they know nothing about the heritage. They don't know anything about the food. They don't know anything about the roads. They don't know anything about the island, period. And I think really there's a lot of older Caymanians that still want to work, enjoy tourism, and I think it must be a must for the Caymanian, the true-born Caymanians, to show up their faces and bring our island back.
Okay, thank you very much, caller, for that. Top of the hour.
I'll respond to that when we get back. It's a very important point, and as Minister of Tourism, I have to respond to it.
Definitely. Top of the hour, we have 3 callers still on hold. This headline news is fairly quick, fairly short, and when we return, then we will be able to take those other callers, plus Minister Bryan will have the opportunity to respond to that tourism question as well. Just to remind you the numbers, I believe you called through now. You may get a busy signal. 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037-949-6990. Ready for me now, Ms. Susan? Top of the hour, folks. Headline news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
Lansing Survey is hosting a community meeting at the Webster United Church Hall in Boddentown tomorrow. It's taking place from 6 to 8 p.m. Residents are invited to come out to discuss and seek clarification on land-related matters. A 95-year-old woman who was tasered by police at an Australian care home, sparking a public outcry, has died. Claire Nowen was critically injured after police responded to a report she was wandering around the home with a steak knife on Wednesday. The New South Wales police said she died, quote, surrounded by family and loved ones. The officer who tasered Mrs. Noland has been charged with assault. And the Russian defense minister has promised a, quote, harsh response to cross-border incursions from Ukraine. His comments come after Moscow said it had defeated an attack in the Belgorod region. However, the regional governor said there had been a, quote, large number of drone attacks overnight. Ukraine denies involvement in the raid, and 2 Russian paramilitary groups opposed to Russian President Vladimir Putin say they were behind it. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller. Lansing Survey is hosting a community meeting at the Webster United Church Hall in Boddentown tomorrow. It's taking place from 6 to 8 p.m. Residents are invited to come out to discuss and seek clarification on land-related matters.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
Health Services Authority is now offering online payment options for patients. Patients of HSA can now pay their bills, including deposits, towards scheduled services online at payments.hsa.ky. The secure, new online payment system accepts debit or credit cards and is in addition to the available payment options of cash, check, and online bank transfer. For quick, easy, and secure payment directly from your phone or computer, visit HSA's new online payment system at payments.hsa.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have 4 callers queued up. This person, very quickly before we go to the caller, talks about the property system. They say, first of all, that immigration has been the elephant in the room since the 80s. Not to take away the points for property, but amend the law so that individuals must have freehold property of not less than $1 million. Then they go on to say the 2 ministers on the show must garner the support of the 8 others and get things done, or else there will not be a safe Cayman in the future. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to your panel.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Good morning. I have a comment for both ministers. Mr. Bryan, I'll come to you first.
Yes, ma'am.
I called you on Monday, and I didn't get an answer, and I wasn't called back. And this is to do with an issue with Cayman Airways and their flight attendants, if that's what they're being called nowadays.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure you don't want me to go into the details on the talk show.
Okay.
So unless you're going to call me and we can discuss it privately, because it's something that you need to know about, then otherwise I'm going to go ahead and say what the issue is on the radio. And because it's something I've noticed for quite a long time, I've spoken about it every time, and quite frankly, I'm getting very frustrated at how trivial it's being treated.
Okay,
So,
I promise you to call. I think I know who the caller is.
Well, I can say who I am, and Mr. Connor knows who I am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can ask him. And
I'm happy to call you after the show. Obviously, I respect the management and the board at Cayman Airways to manage and run the day-to-day business. So I wouldn't be fully involved, but I understand that you want to bring something to my attention, and then I can bring it back to the attention of the board, and then the board can bring it back to the attention of management. I don't get involved in the day-to-day. It would be inappropriate for me as minister, but I am glad that you can bring something to my attention to ensure that the people that I've put there to run the business are doing the job and paying attention to anything that is a major problem. So I would love to hear from you after the call, after the show.
Okay. Just to let you know, I do have an 11:30 appointment, so you'd have to grab me before.
Yes, ma'am.
And to you, Minister Seymour, I believe you are now in charge of border control.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and yours is complimentary because, when they do good, I'm going to compliment them. And so I just want to say that when I arrived back on the island last week, the customs officer that dealt with me, I just want to give him a shout out. He was very professional, well-mannered, and I always try to interact with them. I like to know their names and stuff. I don't remember his first name, but his last name is Bolt. And I remember that because I asked him if he was related to Usain Bolt. He said he didn't know. Okay. But anyway, so I just wanted to let you know that despite what people say about them, you have some very good CBC officers there. And so I hope he's listening, or somebody's listening that will tell him that, he's doing a fine job, being very professional, and welcome me home and everything, something I appreciate. And was, very professional with my, what you call it, calculated, no rudeness and disrespectfulness or anything, and I really appreciate that. So just wanted you to know that.
Well, thank you very much for that, and I just met with the CBC staff, is what they call now, and Director Clifford and yeah, that's how we know it, the whole legacy name.
Well, that's how it's differentiated, right?
Yes, and Deputy Walton and Deputy Borden and the team are doing a great job, and we talked about constantly training and retraining and upskilling, and we hope to have that in a better place and as friendly and as efficient as possible.
Yes, and normally I would have called Deputy Walton and said it to him too, but to be honest, I haven't been well, and it's been kind of difficult for me to talk. But when it comes to Mr. Corner's show, I say my voice for that. In case I need to throw my 50 cents worth in there. So, and Mr. Corner knows that. So, because when I got beat up on him, I beat up on him too.
We wish you well.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller.
Just take it a while. Yep. Thank you.
Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to the two fine MPs, ministers there. Both of them are my good friend.
Thank you.
Just find out that Mr. Bryan is kind of related to me through his great-grandmother, coming out of East End. So anything in the budget, make sure something in the budget for me.
Good morning, Lord Graham.
Yeah. Listen now. I understand you guys were on Monday. I was traveling. I never got to call in. But you all touch on one of my topics. And I think my good friend, Minister Seymour, made mention that nothing can be done without we go through, this is hearsay, the MG. But I don't think we should depend on him too much because I don't think he went into the case for government yet.
You mean the AG?
AG, yeah. We can just leave that right there. The Attorney General. Yeah, we're not going to touch on that right now. But I want to find out border control, okay, immigration.
Yes.
Are you all familiar with 60610?
Of what?
Of what? Which law?
The immigration law. It's for work permit. What happens is a person can be here until his time expires, where it's called rollover. And 6 months before rollover, he brings his wife. And then he get attached to his wife's work permit. And if she's lucky to be here for 9, then that's 18 years, consecutive years that he would be here. And then that would be very difficult, I think, for us to
remove the person.
Remove the person from here. I did mention that on this show before, and my good friend Mr. Orrett mentioned something about the separation of family. But if you choose to come from Timbuktu to Cayman for 9 years, didn't you consider that you were separating yourself from the family? Why should we now have to be the one consider that we're breaking up the family? I don't think we're breaking up any family. That's just a loophole that they have found to beat the system. So we need to look at that.
What section were you speaking of, Lord Graham? 66 what?
It's called 6610.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, look at that. And
definitely.
And so we need to check that out. And I think both of you are very bold, and both of you need to take the bull by the horn. I'm respecting you more and more and more, the two of you, because of what you all now are doing, and you're all segment on Monday. I didn't hear it, but a lot of people called me and told me about it. So keep up the good work and push this real hard and bring a motion, and then we will put a foot to the fire and see who have the best interest of the Cayman people and Cayman.
Yeah, I definitely
have
my interest.
And if those other elected members don't support both of you, then I will deal with them on a personal level, because I am one of the most popular person on Facebook. Facebook say I can't have no more friends. Okay? So I will deal with them. Okay. But we supporting me, and a lot of people that call me are supporting both of you 100%. So you guys need to do your thing, and like the caller before, the tourism caller that called in, mentioned, two of you need to take this country back.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much.
You gave me some goosebumps there.
We're going to grab the other call, but before we go there, this person has written and said the ministers should ask their government to move forward with the private members' motion brought by David White and agreed by Parliament to reduce stamp duty for Caymanians to 5% and zero duty for the first-time Caymanian homeowners on property up to $500,000. It was agreed on last year as well.
Well, I want to say this, that the Honorable Premier has been working on that. As you know, he is the Minister of Finance now. And I'm certain that the Premier will be happy to come on and give more information in respect to that. It is a motion that we support, and you can see by way some of the comments that came in about reducing duties on Caymanians so we can incentivize Caymanian ownership. So I will obviously note that to say, Premier, I think it's time for us to go out and say what we're doing in respect to this area, other than just saying that we've accepted it. But I know the Premier has been talking about that, and I want to take this opportunity quickly before we take another call, is that the Premier has been also in communications with the banks, because I've seen some comments come in about the interest rates on mortgages, and he's working hard to try to find answers to that problem, even though we're getting some positive news that the inflation rates are dropping, and subsequently I don't know how long it will take, but subsequently I think that the interest rates will also start to slowly drop.
And we won't see it here until the Fed's in the U.S.
Exactly. So it's going to take some time. So, but I know he's working hard in the background. We've talked about this in caucus just the other day on Monday, and that's why I couldn't answer the phone for Miss Archer. So I love you. I will call you after the show. If I quickly can, I know that caller is waiting in. Okay. The lady said that, we want to see more Caymanians at the forefront in tourism. I agree with you 150,000%. The one of the biggest hurdles that we do have, though, is this. There's simply not enough Caymanians to fill the work market for tourism. So even if you use every Caymanian who wants to be in tourism, you would not be able to have them all at the front line. And but we have to continue to encourage persons who are in the tourism industry, particularly those who are not born Caymanian, to be more informed about our heritage and our culture. And it is something that I'm pressuring in respect to the training of those persons. I'm working with the CETA, which is the Cayman Islands Tourism Association, to ensure that they understand that, because it's important to our tourism product model.
Okay. We have a caller, but we're going to take the commercial break so that we don't have to interrupt that. Actually, 3 callers. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we will accommodate those callers. So, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Ensuring your existing appliances and equipment are cleaned and maintained regularly is an easy way to improve energy efficiency in your home.
Have your air conditioning equipment serviced by a professional. Make sure bathroom and kitchen exhaust fans and refrigerator coils are cleaned regularly, because the harder your appliances have to work, the higher your bills will be.
The do-it-yourself energy audits on energy.gov.ky make it easy to find ways to save energy and money in your home or business.
Complete an energy audit of your home or business before 31st of May 2023 to be entered into a prize giveaway. Prizes include a $5,000 gift certificate to Home Gas and gift certificates to Cooling Pros, Foam Pros, Costyless, and Foster's.
To learn more, visit energy.gov.ky today and follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram.
Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and respiratory illnesses are among the top causes of death in Cayman every year. From June 3rd until July 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will conduct the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey to better understand the prevalence of non-communicable diseases within our nation. Log on to www.gov.ky/steps to learn more.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines. We have 3 callers. We're going to take those callers, but we also want to bear in mind that not only do we want to hear from people, but we want the ministers to have the ability to respond to them as well. So let's take these 3 callers and see where we go from there. For next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to the ministers.
Morning. How are you, my friend?
Fine, thank you. Very quickly, I must congratulate the 2 ministers, of course, for what they are doing. But before I get to the serious business, I just want to congratulate in particular Minister Bryan for his very bright shirt this morning. If he walked into a disco in the 70s, he would have fitted right in.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so now I want to say something about immigration, and I know that some people wonder, hey, you are a foreigner, why are you so interested in immigration matter? 2 quick answers to that is, one, I don't like injustice anywhere. That's why I became a lawyer. That is point number 1. Point number 2, when I came to Cayman, I expected to be hosted by Caymanians. I found that in reality, in terms of decision-making powers in government, at the official level, I was being hosted more by other people. And those other people, in the end, when I tried to make certain contributions going over and above my salary, like to train Caymanians and write some courses and all that, I wound up being told, hey, you can't teach Caymanians how legislation works. You are now rocking the boat. And so I believe if Caymanians can be more in charge of decision-making at the officials level, I can contribute better. I would have contributed better. But talking about immigration, you see, the problem about immigration is that, in my view, and I want to say this with due respect to every member of parliament, past and present, I just feel that Cayman has already lost control. Indigenous Caymanians, you have already lost control. I know at a political level, you still have control and you are trying your best and achieving great results. But I just feel that if you talk about broadly in the whole society, I believe you've lost control. You can't go to a country where you go to the airport, there are no Caymanians, the hotels, there are no Caymanians, and you go to portfolio of legal affairs, a central part of the country. There's hardly any Caymanian there. So the reason I mention that is not to be cynical. It is just to emphasize that whatever you have to do now has to be drastic.
Yes.
Yes, you can deal with the point system and the buying of land and all these other issues. They are very legitimate issues. But if you want to reverse that trend, you have to do something drastic. Right now, when you think of it, quite apart from everybody who has got PR and status, remember that right now, how many people are waiting grant of status? How many people are waiting grants, like who have applied, are waiting grant PR? And how many people are already in Cayman now and are looking in 2 to 3 years to apply? If you were to take those figures and put them together, I think it will be very, very alarming. Now, how I can make a contribution to this debate, to the political debate, is on the legal side. On the legal side, whatever you have been suggesting, and I heard the whole of your program on Monday, you will always get some lawyer out there, some sellout lawyer who will tell you that you can't do this, okay? Because under the Constitution, it can't be done according to the European Union, it can't be done according to international standards, it can't be done. That will be total nonsense. What I'd like to emphasize is this. If today you wanted to make any law that is retrospective, you can make it. For example, just to give an example, if you wanted to say, we are amending the law now, and this law is going to apply to people who are already in Cayman who haven't applied. It will apply to people who have applied already for PR and for status, and you make it clear in the law. If you wanted to, then those people will have no claim in hell. Why? Because you have made the law retrospective and you have been clear. Yes, what the courts always say, what the court says that if you leave it unclear whether it applies retrospectively or not, then the court will lean towards the law not being retrospective. So if you want to pass a law, just know that if anybody tells you you can't make a law with retrospective effect, they are lying. Even in the UK today, in Australia, in New Zealand, everywhere, you make laws with retrospective effect.
So caller, I want to quickly ask you something, and I'm trying to not make this call too long because I want to hear from everybody else, and we run out of time. But in the concept of this, hypothetically speaking, you know I'm of the mind that we should reform our status grant system, also to reform our residency system. So those persons who may have met to the year 7 who is currently applying for residency, and we say, let's say the government altogether said, you know what, we want to put a moratorium on residence. You're saying that if we made the changes that we can say it's retroactive for those, if we want to stop it right now, and those who are already in the pipeline, we would have to specify it's retroactive, so those who are in the pipeline don't have the justification to say, I'm already in the pipeline, so therefore you can't stop me, even if the law passes tomorrow. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Thank you. Okay,
if you
that's
wanted
what I thought.
Okay, just a last one now. I think, Minister Bryan, the only little bit I disagree, I agree with everything you've said in the last few weeks on immigration, but the only one I disagree with you. You don't want to do it in the next 2 years before the next election. Before an election, ministers get jittery. You want to do it in the next 3 to 6 months because that will turn out to be very, very significant.
Well,
I thank you for...
Thank you so much. I wouldn't say that. Listen, I am here speaking on Kenneth Bryan's behalf, on behalf of the country, and my viewpoints and what I'm hearing from the people. There is a democratic process that needs to be followed, which it goes to caucus. If it gets the support there, it goes to cabinet. After cabinet, it goes to parliament. Now, I'm telling you, I'm one person of 19, and I'm going to do my job. As much as I am a part of a PAC administration, I'm an independent member, and I've promised the people of Georgetown Central that I will fight for what they tell me they want me to fight for, regardless of what the outcome is. So I can't say to you today, or the listening public, that this is what's going to happen. I want to know what you want me to challenge, and I will challenge it, even if that means they're going to get rid of another minister in this government. So if you understand where I'm coming from. So
I understand, sir.
Okay.
100%, yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, caller.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
How you doing, sir?
Rough and regular like sandpaper. Listen, gentlemen. Mr. Connor, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you.
You look out for your bananas, you know. Mr. Bryan first, good morning again. Sita, you were talking about, and I'm calling and supporting my good friend, the lady that called in about this problem with the tourism. You know, I've been in tourism all my life.
Yes, sir.
All of my life. And Sita themselves, you need to look into them. They need some training, good training. Mr. Bryan, I walk with a stick, but I got more ambition than 25% of you, man. Still, because I come from El Royale and the crowd again.
Yes,
I'm not going there, but anyhow, I think that we had it one time where people come off of the ship, they come up from the plane at the airport. And in general, in town, tourists come and ask information about the island and where to find certain things. I used to do it one time down at the port many years ago. But I noticed a lot of people is giving information to tourists, but it's not the right information, just like what the lady caller called in earlier about. And I think, sir, as you as the minister, you should be able to put an information booth with Caymanians. As I say, I walk with a stick, and I'm still got ambition to work, but nobody don't want to hire me because I walk with a stick and I'm ugly and I got a big mouth. But I am overqualified for that job, so that means I can't get it either. Because when you get a job, sometimes you're overqualified.
So Mr. Shillette, forgive me for cutting you, but I just want to keep my notes and get my mind fresh about this. So you're saying that, and one that I think I already support, that we should set up 2 or 3 booths, particularly at the port, where we can hire through the port or through DOT, that they can have information from Caymanians.
Exactly, sir.
Okay.
And
well,
Caymanians that know the island.
Well,
people that
I can say that there are some tables of information that is available there that is given by Caymanians. But what I'll say to you and give you a commitment today to say there's never too much that you can do, because the port area, particularly downtown, there's a lot of different places. I think what we should need is more ambassadors, like what we do at the airport, a lot more Caymanian ambassadors along town, and that gives me reason or good opportunity to hire more Caymanians. Now, we have some budget restraints. Now, if you want to call the Honorable Premier and say, can you ensure that the Minister for Tourism gets the budget so you can add a few more ambassadors downtown, I'd really appreciate it, because I agree with you 100%. So I promise you I'll commit to find out exactly how many we have downtown, whether there's room and scope for more, and what I can do to get that done. And I thank you so much for the call, Mr. Shillette.
Okay, thank that caller very much. Ms. Susan, try to grab one more caller or take the break first. We have 2 callers on hold. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to take those 2 calls. We're going to close the phone lines off so that ministers can respond If time allows after that, then we will reopen the phone lines. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and props she use the card pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Washing your clothes in cold water can save you 90% of your washing machine energy usage.
Using LED light bulbs uses 75% less energy than regular bulbs, and they last 25 times longer. Keeping your appliances and equipment cleaned and maintained regularly will reduce your monthly electricity bill.
The do-it-yourself energy audits on energy.gov.ky make it easy to find ways to save energy and money in your home or business.
Complete an energy audit of your home or business before 31st of May 2023 to be entered into a prize giveaway. Prizes include a $5,000 gift certificate to Home Gas and gift certificates to Cooling Pros, Foam Pros, Cossy Less, and Foster's.
To learn more, visit energy.gov.ky today and follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Two more callers on hold. We're going to accommodate those calls, give the ministers an opportunity to get some responses in as well. So let's go to the first caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor, and like I said, special good morning to you. Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you.
And the panel. I say John, but Minister John and Minister Ryan.
That's fine.
Morning, sir.
I really have to congratulate you on the step that you're taking. That takes real cojones. And, I am not a supporter of politics. I studied political science, so I know what it's all about. The agendas don't always align with the best interests of the people. When you find people who are willing to step away from that and do what you're doing, that deserves a lot of respect and a lot of support.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you.
I have nothing to hide. I am Blake Hurdiston. I'm 67 years old. I'm a fifth generation Caymanian, just like you. And things have to change.
Yes.
But they cannot change if you're quiet about it.
True.
So anything that you're talking about in the line of Cayman status, I'll give you the information right now on myself. I was born in Honduras. My descendants are Caymanians from the Barrios in Honduras. My father is Caymanian. At 1988, I had to get Cayman status. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying I am Caymanian by paper and by bloodline. So what happened over the years, why the status situation has changed, where the criteria of qualifying for status has changed. We have to go back to those standards. Number two, I also received a lot of experience from Mr. Jim Borden. I worked with him, for him, and Mr. Norman Borden, who taught me about the laws of the Cayman Islands, etc., from a very young age. And things have changed so much, and I know it's a political agenda, but it's not doing any good for us. We're not like United States or Canada where we have thousands of acres of land that we need to populate. We're running out of space, actually.
Correct. Yes. Correct.
So we have to govern that in one way or another. Now, I know it's not an easy task because you have to have a balance. You cannot stop the money people from coming in, because then we starve to death. And you cannot allow the third world people to overpopulate us, or then we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult thing, balance, and I really admire you guys, and I can give you all the support I can, because this has to be done. Not 3 years from now. We're starting at the right time. Yeah. Although a lot of it is with a hand, we can catch it now. We have to go back to our original standards that made Cayman. All the laws are there, sir. There, Mr. Bo Miller, another one of my great friends, passed away, but I spent a lot of time with him. And the laws are there. We can just pull them up. Maybe some need a little tweaking, but they're there. The laws were made and designed for Cayman Islands, for nobody else.
And Blake, while you're on the phone, I want to say thank you very much for calling in. I see you standing up. I see you on Facebook. And hence the reason why I always say that when one government takes over and the other ones retire or out, we don't take the opportunity to tap the brains of those persons who had been there before us, and we don't do a very good job of that in Cayman. I see I'm doing it in the U.S. And other countries where they respect former presidents and former senators and members of parliament and so forth. But the reason why that's so important for us to talk to those persons who planted, and not just the ones who come along and are watering the plant, but for us to not make the simple mistakes, and that's why we're at where we're at now.
You're right. I have to agree with you, and Mr. Hurlson, thank you so much for calling in, because that moral support gives us the strength to continue. By all means, some of the things we say are not always popular, and it's not always agreed by everybody, but we know what we're saying are in the best interest of the country, at least based on the responses we've been getting. So we will continue to do that. So I thank you so much. But Minister, you brought up such an important point, and I had a speech on that quick when we had the 50th anniversary of Parliament, about respecting those who were before us, because what it allows us to do is not make those mistakes. But I know we have one more caller. I really want to say this. Please, I want to cover all the things that persons have sent in, so give us at least the 15 minutes to respond to those.
Okay, let's grab the last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good, my friend. I am good. Good morning, Mr. Bryan, my nephew.
Good morning.
Good morning, the other minister there, John.
Yes, sir.
Quick one, then I can let on the guys out of the podium. The situation with the terminal, I think that set a bad precedent for the people of the Cayman Islands and the country in whole, for us to be year after or term, government after government, to come and bring companies in to redo these terminals and don't implement the use of those chutes. Other countries are doing it, and it looks bad on our country that is being so recognized around the world by different countries to fly in their aircrafts, Southwest, JetBlue, United, these other companies, to come in here, and they got to take their passengers off in pouring rain. It sets a bad precedent for us here in the Cayman Islands, and it's time that it should have been done, because for decades now they just changing the structure and not implementing what needs to be put there. It's a waste of money. I think for the government to be, every time you turn on the television to watch the Parliament meetings, for them to be discussing about building these pile of, I know West Bay need a school, I'm not disputing that, but for them to put a $50 million school here on the Brock, which is just a waste of government money, if you ask me. Things have to be implemented into this country that's more important than for us to build a school that's not going to be utilized in the proper way. Where we get our bread and butter, gentlemen, it comes from our cruise industries, in the infrastructure of that airlines, those airlines. And when we lose them, dog eat our supper. Gentlemen, we need to get our act together. Whether it takes 6 months or it takes 8 months or a year, we need to get it. If it's this government that has to do it, we need something put in place, and we need it done fast, gentlemen. I would listen to your comments, and you all have
Before you go, how did the meeting go last night with the Electoral Boundaries Commission in the BRAC?
I didn't even heard about it, and now that you mention it, I would love for someone to call me and tell me how it went. I didn't know about it. Matter of fact, I had a. Oh yeah.
Remember you wanted it changed.
Yeah, I wanted to change. Yes, that's right. I saw about that. But I did not get to it. I had another commitment, and that is what I ended up going to, and so it slipped me. So
got you. Okay. We'll try to get some feedback on it.
Yeah, you let me know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Gentlemen, we have about 6 minutes before we go to the break, so
I just
want to close off the phone lines now.
If I can quickly just say before getting into the rest of the stuff, I want to send a special happy belated birthday to Mr. Tim Solomon, whose birthday was on the 19th of this month. Very special person to me. He's my constituent, but also a very senior member of our community in Georgetown. And he's also the father of a past parliamentarian, Mr. Elio Solomon. So, Mr. Solomon, if you're listening to me, I love you. May God continue to bless you and heal you in every way possible. In respect to the comment that the caller made, I see the foundation upon which he's coming from. And I want to make a disclaimer. The person who just called in is my uncle. I get his priority by way of saying that we have to focus on the areas that make us money. And you know our two top pillars in the country is financial services and tourism. And as tourism minister, I would have to agree with him that we have to focus heavily on our development at the airport and the infrastructure at the airport. But I caveat that by saying I can't support the position that he said that Kimmerbrook doesn't need a high school. Kimmerbrook does need some reform. That school is still the school that I went to when I went there for 3 years. And the issue that we're having is a balancing act of what monies we do have with the number of issues that we need to resolve that have financial implications to it. And the government's job is to balance that. And are we going to get it perfect? Probably not in everybody's eyes. But we have to support Kimmerbrook because Kimmerbrook has a virgin opportunity to start an economy over there that is done the right way as opposed to the messes that we've made here in Grand Cayman. But we will resolve that as we go forward as a government. And I support the development of a school in Kimmerbrook. That being said, I am pushing very, very hard with my government to do the airport redevelopment. We've created a plan, we've accepted the plan, but it's very costly. And that's why you've heard me say before about talking to the UK about financing models that allow the overseas territories to put in place their infrastructure concerns. And interestingly enough, in the debate by the Commons while the GMC was going on, some of the private members brought up the fact that financing needs to be done to allow for support for infrastructure needs within those countries. And the airport is one of the key sets of infrastructure for countries whose second pillar of their economy and the more secured part of their economy is tourism. So airport allows us to have that. Financial services, even though it's the lead economy in the country, can disappear a lot quicker because the asset is an industry of formulated legislation. The asset within tourism is our people and our environment in the delivery of that. So I would say tourism is more secured, even though financing is doing us a lot better. So I agree with you. The infrastructure to support that and its sustainability and longevity of it has to be secured. But unfortunately, I can't say we are in a position financially to do so unless the UK steps in and helps us. I've said a lot. I want to make sure that my colleague speaks a little bit more than I do, or speaks more because I talk a lot, and I want to be mindful of his time. I'm going to, when we come back from the break, highlight some comments that have been sent to me and what I've listed. But before we go to break, you want to add something?
Sure. I just wanted to add the last caller, and I like his passion, and he's right on point in terms of us, that we should have airport jetways by now, even if not all of the spaces, we could do a hybrid, because some of the tourists love to get off in the sun and enjoy that. Yes. But definitely, the Brock School has my 100% support. We need to do all we can to support the infrastructure came in Brock and to try to create new avenues of revenue for them, which this school could be used in many different ways, and I support that 100%. Definitely. And, we have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. We can try to balance the budget and try to get jetways and build a school. But that's one that we will do during the next 6 months before the next budget comes up. So I just wanted to add that. There's so many things that we would love to delve into this morning. Obviously, we have our restrictions with the breaks and everything else and the time of the program. I know OC has allowed and management has allowed the program to go over at times. But when we get two willing ministers, because you don't really get ministers to always agree to come on, they have so much competing interests and things that they need to do, that you're not able to get them on, and we're willing to just jump up at a switch and come on and just talk about the things that people. There's not necessarily anything prepared that you come with a prepared speech, but the topical stuff that people need to know, that people want to discuss, things that we don't even know they're suffering, and there's so many people suffering in Cayman now, and even with I don't understand why we haven't, and thank God we haven't lost more homes. Yeah. And I know what I am faced with. Yeah. And to have your mortgage go up some $1,700 in a year. I pray for Caymanians, and I pray that we can withstand this until there's a downturn and that we're able to get a break.
Okay, we're going to take our final commercial break. When we return, the ministers will continue to respond to your questions and your comments that you have given us throughout this portion of the show this morning. So, folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay Mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough, and sore throat to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Cayman Art Week brings you 5 days of art events and exhibitions from Tuesday the 30th of May to Saturday the 3rd of June, all free and open to the public. Visit galleries and studios anytime throughout the week or hop on one of the buses running guided tours around a different district each night. Don't miss this chance to explore Cayman's local art scene. Meet some of the artists or buy some art of your own. Check out what's happening each day, where the part is at, and how to catch a bus tour by visiting CaymanArtWeek.com.
The Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency wants your feedback on the draft National Climate Change Policy. The Cayman Islands is experiencing impacts of climate change, like sea level rise, changes to rainfall patterns, and temperature increases. A national climate change policy is essential to ensuring a strong economy, safe communities, and healthy ecosystems. Download the draft policy now at gov.ky/climate change policy. Send us your feedback by Friday, the 30th of June. Log on to gov.ky/climate change policy today to learn more.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Minister Dwayne Seymour and Minister Kenneth Bryan. Before I pass the mic back over to you, and we know Minister J.E. Banks isn't here, and this falls under his remit, but one writer was curious to know about the land that had been purchased in off the Linford-Pearson Highway, and they believe that government didn't use it again because of pressure from adjoining, rich landowners as to, what will be done with that property to make more housing available for Georgetowners as well.
Well, it's 25 acres, and I think, the persons that complain, rightly so complain, and we need to ensure that any area that is built with the proper drainage systems and so forth. And, that area is very sensitive, and I don't think that you need to utilize all of the land to build homes, because it's 25 acres. It's a big piece of property. So I think we can use some of that land to try to contain water and try to use some of those systems that we see in the U.S. To mitigate some of their concerns.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
OC, I want to take this opportunity to go over some of the things that we were talking about earlier, and I'm happy to say that the management has agreed that we can get another 15 minutes, but they have to go to the news break at 10, which is the headline news. So once that is done, we'll come back just until 10:15. So we have a little bit of extra time. This morning, I asked the listening audience to send us some priority concerns for you as a people in respect to the issues that we are facing. And I started to list them off, and we have our preliminary ones that we always hear about, but I've seen that there's some new ones on there, and I want to read them off because it's important that you know that we heard you. So the things that I've listed, some of them obvious: traffic, cost of living, housing, minimum wage, pension, investment reform, healthcare cost, immigration reform, which is a multifaceted one, from moratorium in respect to work to statuses and potential residency, to other reforms of protection from an economic perspective of Caymanians here on island. We also brought up the employment protection and opportunities, which some of that relates to minimum wage. Crime has become a major issue with the daylight robberies and any kind of robberies at all, which we are working closely with the governor through her security council as to what's the update from the police commissioner. But I think crime also has a lot to do with the economy and ability to have financing. I think people rob because, one, there's a lot of reasons why, but it's mainly focused on financial gain. And if a person can do it legally, they probably wouldn't normally do it illegally. Some people just don't have any morals too, but I think if opportunities, particularly for those who do it, were greater, then the higher probabilities of less of it. The other one that came up was the Advisory District Council. One person actually tasked me to say, Kenneth, you and your government promised to do it and it hasn't been done yet, is basically what they summarized it. I want to wait till another day to be able to give you the government's position on that, because that needs in-depth discussion. But I agree principally, we're supposed to have had it done by now. I'm not going to say any more to that. I will talk with the rest of the team in respect to how we're going to go about that. Another person brought up this part about the education declining standards, and I need to acknowledge the concern of the messenger by saying that they're concerned about the recent assessment of the schools. But they have to recognize the caveat of we just came out of a 2-year pandemic, which had a negative domino effect on the education system, whereby kids were in and out of school. They were doing it via Zoom. Some people's attendance was really, really low even when we went back to school, because you had whole year blocks not going to school for periods of time. So naturally, the grading or the assessment of the schools wouldn't have been as high as you would, because there was a unfortunate circumstance for a long period of time that affected the natural flow of learning for those children for 2 years. And I want to say this is not unique to Cayman. Every country in the world has seen a dip in their standards of pass marks because of the COVID effect. So I want us to give the education department and their team time to start to recover. The question that you should ask yourself is this. Actually, Cayman may have recorded least amount of effect compared to some other jurisdictions who've had it worse, because their whole country had shut down, period. They didn't have the luxury of Zooms. They didn't have the luxury of computers at home. So though we may have seen a dip, in comparison to the rest of the world, I think we did a good job, and we have to give the education department and the minister the time to say, listen, these are the mitigating factors we've put in place, and we recognize the feelings on this area or that area, and it's because of X, Y, and Z, and we're back on track and we're going back to the road. Because before the pandemic, the standards and rates for the schools were on an uphill climb, which was good. So I think we should cut a little slack in that respect. Going back now to the airport redevelopment, I will be making some announcements soon as the minister responsible for the Cayman Islands Airports Authority. I don't want to preempt that yet, but I agree that we need to focus on that key infrastructure asset, as it is a key component to the second pillar of our economy, which is more sustainable than financial services, I dare say, which is bringing our tourists here for stayover. The other one that I heard come up was rental regulation. Just like Caymanians who have mortgages that are paying high prices on their bank mortgages, so are Caymanians who are renting. So they're also being harmed by the rent out of control renting pricing markets. And sometimes you may not say you want to control the rent prices, but at least the standards upon which somebody can charge a price for something. So, like, I don't believe in getting in the business of telling you how much you should sell your product for.
Market,
But you're not going to sell a product that is below the standard of Cayman living. So that we have to definitely address. The other one was increasing the fines and enforcement for garbage and littering in this country. And I agree 100%. And me personally, I'm going to start put pressure on the relevant ministries and departments in respect to enforcement, because it is something that reflects on my area of responsibility, which is tourism.
Can I add something to that?
Yes, please.
Our beautification committee, where are we at with that? We did hear something, I think was maybe from the Department of Environmental Health, about a pilot project that was going to be rolled out in relation to garbage. I made a suggestion about having special garbage bins, and using a particular area to
as a pilot project.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
anything on that?
I would say that I don't know the details to it right now, but I would encourage, because I know the Minister for Health and Wellness is responsible for the key area of the Department of Environmental Health. And she has been working on some things behind the scenes. I don't want to preempt that, but she will be essential. She, as minister, and the policies within those departments will be essential to the beautification of our country. So I know that she's going to come on to the radio. I encourage you, if you want to ask her to come on and talk about it, that would be great.
And Minister, just to add to that is, a few years ago, probably just 3 years ago, when I was Minister of Environment at the time, we brought in a truck. I saw a program in Florida, and we brought in a truck that would help us with our recycling efforts. And we were going to take a special area in Cayman and try a pilot program, which was going to be some specialized garbage containers and recycling containers and so forth. But the truck came in wrong. It came in with the arm on the right side. So we had to send it back. And, it takes almost a year to develop one of these vehicles. So definitely, I understand from the minister that they were at it again and trying to get the proper vehicles. She can come on the minister can come on and talk more about that.
Yeah.
But
no doubt, and I know that the good thing about Radio Cayman is this is a Caymanian show.
Yeah.
And there are voters on here who represent a lot of our country.
Yes.
And I encourage you, call your politician and say you want to hear more about whatever it is. Don't be afraid to apply pressure. That's what the politicians respond to. And that's a secret I just gave you. That being said, I want to continue on. But before I finish off these 5 of the areas that I noted today is a birthday for a very special, wonderful woman that I'm happy to say is my constituent and somebody I look up to tremendously. And I want to send a special, special happy birthday to Miss Alex O'Neill.
Oh, Miss Alex.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Miss Alex. Also, happy birthday to my best friend, Hacha. Happy birthday.
So I know that a lot of people know her. If you know her, give her a call. Give her some love. Pray for her and make her feel loved because she deserves it. Happy birthday, Miss Alex. Okay. We got to go to the 10 o'clock news. I will cover those rest of those points and some of the comments that were sent to me after we get back from the headline news.
We have been extended for an additional 15 minutes, folks. 10 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation will continue with Minister Bryan and Minister Seymour, so please stay tuned.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
One cruise ship is scheduled to visit Cayman today. Carnival Horizon can carry up to 4,000 people. 2 ships are scheduled for tomorrow. The full cruise calendar can be found online at caymanport.com. Legislators in the U.S. state of South Carolina have passed a bill that would ban nearly all abortions after around 6 weeks of pregnancy before most women know they're pregnant. The bill is expected to be signed into law by the state's Republican governor, but it will face legal challenges. The majority of southern U.S. states have curtailed abortion rights since the Supreme Court overturned the nationwide right to abortion last year. And German police have carried out raids in 7 states in a probe into climate campaigners suspected of forming or backing a criminal group because of their controversial activities. 7 people between the ages of 22 and 38 are suspected, but no arrests have been made. For months, Last Generation has disrupted traffic in German cities and performed stunts like hurling a mashed potato at an artwork. Those are your headlines. I'm Kersley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
HSA's cardiology clinic is now located at Smith Road Medical Center. Our cardiology team provides expert care and treatment for heart conditions such as coronary artery disease, heart failure, arrhythmias, hypertension, congenital heart diseases, among others. The new location offers state-of-the-art cardiac diagnostic testing, including echocardiograms, ECGs, and stress tests. To contact, call 949-8600. At HSA, your heart matters to us.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cayman.
praise time.
Praise Him, praise Him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise Him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise Him, praise Him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite. Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite.
Praise time.
I know He cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise Him, praise Him, praise Him,
praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. And we want to say thanks to management for extending the show for an additional 15 minutes. But we're going to still keep the phone lines closed because the reason for the request was to be able to cover all of those areas that had been solicited by the ministers and those responses that have come in as well. So, Minister Bryan, Minister Seymour, the mic is back over to you.
Thank you, O.C. Before I finish this up, Minister, you want to cover another area first before?
No, you can go.
Okay. The other areas that were brought up were foreclosure concerns, and as I said before, the Premier will address the country further as he's developing behind the scenes, working closely with the banks to try to find some solutions to that. Bank cost on Caymanians is as a component of that. There was another point about bringing up the issue, which I brought up in opposition, a motion about Caymanian-only jobs. And I think the lawyer that called in, Mr. Billy Samamba, talked about Caymanians being at the helm. And I'm of the view that every top position within the civil service should be Caymanian mandatorily, and that should be a constitutional change. I've got some resistance in that, but I won't talk about that today.
Well, the precedent is there. We have said in our constitution that the deputy governor must be Caymanian, the cabinet secretary must be Caymanian as well.
Yeah, and I think that it should be every head of the department, every chief officer, and every deputy chief officer should be Caymanian only. I think that should be protected, but I'm head of HRs in this country should be Caymanian. But it's a democracy. Until the day comes when I have the majority support in that, then I will do so. I would want to also highlight some comments that came in because we haven't said anything about sustainability, and I got one here saying. The carrying capacity study and a population control plan is my number one concern. And I think that has a little bit to do with the immigration concerns that we had here. It says, unbridled, incentivized population growth has been good for the economy, but is now obviously the root cause of much of the ecological and sociological woes. It's hurting our natural resources, violent crime, theft, drugs, poverty through gentrification. My apologies. Gentrification. Traffic and landfill. It clearly is unsustainable, making the very term sustainable development an oxymoron when used in the context of Grand Cayman. We keep stamping out litter fires while ignoring the volcano that is sweeping out these little islands. Population growth, that's my issue. There is another one that came up that I wanted to cover. It says, number one issue, road and traffic. Cayman has long passed the roundabout. There needs to be more over and underpasses. These will let traffic flow faster. More multi-story parking is needed in Georgetown. These will let the handoff of traffic. I'm just reading the comments that have been sent to me, so I'm not sure how they structured it. Of traffic into Georgetown much faster and reducing the backups entering into Georgetown. Grand Harbor needs an overpass that will solve the. That will solve the harbor bottleneck and access issues. The new road being built to Bobby Thompson needs an underpass, and that elevated road roundabout will create worse buildup of traffic. The L. Thompson roundabout should be changed to an overpass. So this person is obviously interested in a lot of traffic issues from overpass and underpass perspective. The second issue was where is our 50 and 100-year infrastructure plan? So infrastructure plans, that's the one I forgot. Infrastructure plan Which the Premier has given indication he will be talking about that in the near future because it falls under his responsibility. It was taken from the Honourable Minister J. So I will leave that in the hands of the Premier to address the country in that respect. Issue number 3, healthcare is a big issue. Cost delivery, HSA is government funded, with staff being some of the highest paid in the region. Very good, interesting point, because we've been talking about that. Why then do they refer so many cases to Health City or off the island? Is it that the doctors here care more about making money or milking the system than providing health care? Interesting point. There was another one I wanted to read. It's important that the people know that I've heard what they've said and that we will respond. I responded to one about education already. There was one...
I just wanted to...
Yes, go ahead.
Mention what we were discussing off air in terms of the Cayman Islands hosting the Caribbean Customs Law Enforcement Council, which is pronounced CCLEC. It's on the 7th through the 9th of June of this year, and we'll host, it's the 45th conference actually, and it's a regional organization that promotes cooperation among customs and law enforcement agencies in the Caribbean region. The conference will bring together custom officials from various countries within the Caribbean, as well as the United Kingdom, the United States, Spain, and the Netherlands to discuss regional challenges and share best practices. Approximately about 50 delegates are expected to attend this conference.
Excellent. And Minister Bryan, if I may, this person has asked me to read this, so I told him if time would allow. The person says, did I hear the minister say that we need to pray for Cayman? I'll just read it as it is. Really, is that the minister's solution? Doesn't he know that we have to put foot to prayer? We pray for Cayman, yes, we do every day, but we expect our ministers to come with action, put something in place that governs the high interest rates in the Cayman Islands. It is a disgrace what is happening to the people of the Cayman Islands. So
I appreciate the person's comment, but what I want to say is, I know even from the pandemic, some persons were uncomfortable with me using the word prayer or even praying. So that's fine, and that's their way, and God will judge them. But what I want to say is that the reason why we're here, because we're action people.
Yeah.
You know, we want to take things forward. We don't like to sit down and...
So you're definitely doing more than praying.
We're doing more than praying, but I also want to pray for the persons who are in the situations. I understand and I sympathize. I'm in it also. And we're better to start than prayer. And no one will ever stop me from using the word prayer or even praying, or suggesting that I'm praying for someone.
Yeah.
So I thank them for their opinion, but my stance is to continue praying.
Certainly. Mr. Bryan?
And that being said, I want to ask the country to pray for us and pray for our elected members. And for those who don't believe in that, that's fine. We are a praying nation, and that's what has given us much of the success that we have today. So I want to say first off, thank you so much for those persons who have interacted with us today in respect to all the issues. It's not, by all means, I'm not here calling for what the issues are because we don't know. It's more of a reassurance to say that we are on the right track in respect to our deliberations and our discussions in caucus about these issues. And I am happy to say that I don't think there's anything that I've heard today that hasn't been discussed, probably except district advisory councils, which we have had some discussions. We just haven't had any forward movement on that, and I will be bringing it back to the caucus.
There's one that's added here. This person mentioned minimum wage and education, but the last one, lack of let me find it. Oh gosh, come on. Communications. They were talking about the fact that
lack of us coming on and being transparent. Well,
yes.
There's a level of truth to that. I'm going to be asking my colleagues to be more active, particularly on Radio Cayman, specifically Radio Cayman.
Lack of official communication, need to regular MP district meetings and police meetings. That's
Good point. Interestingly enough, I'm having a meeting in Tropical Gardens next week, and I'm going to be trying to do a lot more of those individually. That's a Georgetown Central thing, but I think collectively as a government, we're going to be doing a lot more of that. We have our midterm report that is going to be coming out soon, that people can look and see what we have done specifically in a document form. So yes, we're going to try our best to be more involved in the communications, at least individually. I know that myself, and I know that the Minister, Honorable Dwayne Seymour, has given commitment that we were going to be on the radio a whole lot more. I intend to have a press conference soon about some announcements, particularly in respect to the airport and some other developing things within my area of responsibility. OC, it was a pleasure to be on this show this morning. Thank you so much, everybody who's interacted with the dialogue.
Feedback has been great, really great. It goes to show you how anxious people are to really communicate with you.
And we're committed to coming back again. And I thank you so much, and I ask you to pray for me. And that being said, thank you so much for having me on the show, Minister.
Thank you so much for having us on today. Thank the listening public for calling in. Not every comment is going to be complimentary, but those are the ones that drive us. And we need to constantly, ensure that we are attending our persons with mental health. It's very near and dear to me, and I saw the story in the Compass about the young Caymanian who's been detained in the Compass. I'm interested in that case and want to look into that further also. And also interested in the Fair Commission that was passed in the House. This definitely, my pledge is to implement this, and I think it's forward thinking. It would create a fair and equitable situation for our people. My quest is to also continue pressing to have the East-West Arterial Road started from Woodland Drive to Lookout without the extensive and long EIA process, but ensuring that we do all we can to mitigate with the correct hydrological studies, which the professionals and engineers at NRA can do so well. And definitely coming on this show, persons have to know my career in politics has always been about trying to protect the people of the Cayman Islands. I feel like I am the voice of the voiceless, and I've said that many times. I'm the person who brought the second chance motion for that young man who was trying to go to college and did something when he was a teenager and couldn't get it off. So I brought that motion in his regard. And the trust legislation, I was ahead of my time. I saw what was coming, and this was over 12 years ago. And it passed unanimously in the House, but fell away. No one did anything with it. They saw it as a danger.
One of our listeners is asking, I think we mentioned the GG Ham program.
Yes.
And they wanted to know where we're at with that, if that still exists. And anyone?
I don't want to speak out of turn, and again, this falls on the Minister of Finance, which is the Honorable Premier, so I don't want to step out of my place. But the last understanding that I recall is the discussions with the relevant banks who want to be a part of the program, because ultimately the bank has to agree that they'll accept a government guarantee for a certain percentage of the upfront cost that a normal person applying for a mortgage would have to have. So there has to be a fund put aside for that, because it puts limitations in the government's financing ability, because once it becomes a guarantee, we have to put aside the necessary monies available in the event of a default. So again, it's another issue I can say, Premier, when we get back to caucus, here's some of the things that came up on the radio that people want to hear about and that falls within your area of responsibility, and ask them to come on.
Gentlemen, thank you all very much. I'm sure that our listening and viewing and participating audience certainly appreciate the efforts that you have made, not only today, but on Monday as well. Folks, no closing monologue. Just want to say thanks to the management and staff of Radio Cayman for giving this additional time as well. Folks, have a great day. Make sure you listen to Sterling, Dwayne, Ebanks at 12:15 for talk today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. Visit energy.gov.ky or follow the National Energy Policy on Facebook and Instagram. And by the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Visit gov.ky/steps to learn more. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
Here is where tradition never dies. This is your radio.